Medieval Chronicles presents. Imagine a world where knowledge is as fragile as a single flameware. Entire civilizations depend on manuscripts that can vanish overnight. In the Middle Ages, books were more than objects. They were lifelines of memory, identity, science, and faith. Yet countless of these treasures disappeared, burned, looted, forgotten, or simply allowed to decay. This is the story of the lost libraries of the Middle Ages, and the knowledge we will never see again. In medieval Europe, the written word was precious. A single manuscript could take years to complete, carefully copied by monks, scholars, and scribes under the dim glow of candles. These libraries weren't built of stone. They were built of time, devotion, and risk. But the same fragility that made books sacred also made them vulnerable. And one by one, the great collections of the Middle Ages began to fall. The burning of the Library of Constantinople, 1,000 years of knowledge lost. Our journey begins in the Byzantine Empire, the last echo of Rome. Constantinople once housed one of the greatest libraries the medieval world ever knew, containing ancient Greek texts, Roman histories, mathematical and works of philosophy long since lost. But war came in 1204. During the Fourth Crusade, Crusaders breached the shining city, and its libraries were plundered. Manuscripts that survived the fall of Rome, texts no other civilization had preserved, were burned, torn apart, or stolen. What exactly was lost? Some say early Christian writings, unknown Greek tragedies, ancient medical knowledge, and scientific works that predated even the Islamic Golden Age. We will never know. The monastic libraries, silenced by time. Across medieval Europe, monasteries were the heart of intellectual life. Their libraries protected the fragile inheritance of antiquity, works of Aristotle, Plato, Galen, and Cicero. But they also held something much rarer: local histories, epic poems, herbal manuals, and scientific experiments handwritten by monks. These weren't simply books. They were the identity of entire regions. Then came centuries of war, Viking raids, fires, reformations, and political upheaval. Library after library vanished. Lindisfarne raided by Vikings in 793. Cluny, once the largest monastic library in Western Europe, Fulda, Wehrmattijahot, St. Wolf, and hundreds more, most disappeared, not in a single catastrophic event, but slowly, quietly erased by time. Imagine thousands of unique medieval works, from astronomy to botany, from theology to everyday life, lost forever. The Islamic libraries of Al-Andalus. The Golden Age cut short, while much of Europe struggled to preserve ancient texts. Al-Andalus in Iberia built shining libraries that rivaled Baghdad's House of Wisdom. In cities like Cordoba, scholars collected manuscripts from across the known world. At its height, the library of Caliph al-Hakam II held over 400,000 volumes, an unimaginable number for its time. It contained Greek philosophy, translated into Arabic innovations in mathematics, astronomy, and medicine, poetry, music theory, and literature, cross-cultural scientific research. But the tides shifted. Political instability, invasions, and religious purges targeted heretical texts. Entire collections were burned in public squares. These flames consumed more than books, they consumed centuries of scientific progress. The university libraries, knowledge at risk. As medieval universities in Oxford, Bologna, new intellectual class formed. Scholars debated logic, astronomy, theology, and natural philosophy. But university libraries didn't escape destruction either. Wars between kingdoms, invasions, accidental fires, and perhaps the greatest threat, the fragility of paper itself. Text after text turned to dust before it could be copied. Imagine the early drafts of scholastic philosophers, lost commentaries on Aristotle, scientific experiments abandoned, medical diagrams never hundreds of thousands of works now gone. What was lost and what it means? So what did we lose? We lost alternative histories voices that contradicted the dominant narratives. We lost scientific breakthroughs that may have accelerated progress by centuries. We lost entire literary traditions, poems, and epics that shaped the medieval imagination. We lost medical knowledge, forgotten herbal cures, and early clinical observations. But above all, we lost a wider, richer understanding of the medieval mind. The Middle Ages were not a dark time. They were a time of creativity, experimentation, and debate. And many of the greatest achievements of that world vanished before the Renaissance ever began. Could a disaster like that happen again? Today, we feel like our knowledge is safe. We have digital archives, massive servers, and cloud storage. It feels permanent, right? But just like the fragile manuscripts of the Middle Ages, our modern world relies on things that can break: electricity, internet networks, political stability, and most importantly, the collective will to preserve what we know. If the Dark Ages taught us anything, it's that knowledge isn't guaranteed. It's not a given. It has to be actively protected by every single generation, every single day. The lost libraries of the past are a stark reminder of a simple truth. Civilizations are remembered not just for what they create, but for what they manage to save. And somewhere, lost to time, are the unwritten books and unspoken ideas that could have changed everything. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.